Everyone, my name is Jolie Demarco. I'm your host here at All Things Metaphysical on my Metaphysical channel, allowing you to open up all of your senses and explore your life in positive ways. So, tonight's episode is about sage and how to use it. There's lots of different types of sage, so I know it could be a little overwhelming. A lot of people come into our retail store, and I have about 15 different kinds of sage. But basically, they just come in a lot of different shapes too, and twisted certain ways. So I'm going to go over a little bit with you here tonight. So the most common sage is white sage. Okay, so it's usually bound up. It's basically little separate pieces that are bound with string, and the colors of string sometimes vary. This one is red and white. Sometimes the strings, when they're different colors, it does mean that there's different herbs wrapped with them. So you might want to check the store that you're purchasing them from. So just to make sure, usually everything is pretty labeled in most metaphysical stores. But so this one is white sage. It comes from California. Okay, and it's dried out, and so that's why it feels kind of crunchy, and it's supposed to feel like that. And it's really cool and easy to burn, so it smells really good. Some people either love it or hate it. Some people says it smells like marijuana when you burn it. So if you have neighbors or you're in an apartment building, you might not want to do that. You might want to use what we call liquid sage, with just spray bottle that has distilled water and also sage essential oil in it. Okay, so this way it's not smoking it up and making it really potent with the smell. So now this is white sage from California. This is also white sage from California. I just like to show you the difference because some people, think, just because they're wrapped differently, it's still white sage. Okay, so there's small ones, large ones, and there's also little ones that look like little chicken wings. I always call it look like chicken wings. But basically, this is also white sage too. Now, one little cool thing that you can learn about white sage is that you can unwrap them, especially these little ones here. Let's see if I could do it. Should have brought scissors. So basically, see how there's three different pieces inside of this one, kind of twisted together and dried? You can take off one at a time and just burn one of them at a time. So you're not burning the whole thing, but some people just like to burn the whole thing, and that's just a preference. There's no right or wrong in this. Now, smells good. Now, another type of sage is called mugwort. So remember, all kinds of herbs can be sages or used as sage or attached to white sage. So this one is pure mugwort. So mugwort is an herb that they used to use years ago for exorcists. And basically, if you have some really bad energy in your space or your home, and you really feel like it's not just going away with regular sage, I would say get mugwort. It's also called black sage. So there's a couple names for it. So basically, mugwort is an herb, and it's wrapped just like sage is with a string. Okay, and it's just super potent. I mean, like this should, clear any energy in any space. All right. Now this other kind is really cool too. So we have some sage that's actually white sage. So the same white sage from California. And then it also has different herbs wrapped in. This one actually has rosemary. So if you like the smell of rosemary, this is a really good one for you to burn because now you not only have the white sage smell, but you also have the rosemary. So it kind of changes it up a little bit in the space. It's still cleansing and clearing. It's just a preference as well with the other extra herb. Now there are combinations that you might find in the stores that have lavender in them with the white sage. Those smell so good. I love those. You can also find pine by itself, just wrapped. That's also considered a sage. I mean, a sage just means that you're cleaning and cleansing. And of course, sage is the name of sage. But saging is the process of cleaning and cleansing your space or your home or your area. And you could also sage yourself. With sage, you could also sage your items such as your crystals. So if you want to sage some of your crystals, people do that also. So saging is using the herb's frequency, because everything has a frequency, to change the frequency in a space and also to cleanse and clear it. Because white sage not only has properties of cleansing and clearing with its frequency, but it also is a disinfectant. So one to know, just like rosemary is. Rosemary is a really great disinfectant, antibacterial. And so those frequencies together are really cleansing and clearing. So not only the frequency, but literally the space. So when you're smoking them up, obviously there's smoke, and sometimes, the sage can be falling as it burns off. So this is a little handy dandy thing that most sage users have, and it's called an abalone shell. So this is a natural, beautiful shell. Look at the colors on the inside. I mean, this is just amazing. Can you see that? This lighting's kind of, there you go. So it's a shell, and you'll notice that an abalone shell has little holes. Okay. So as you're burning the sage is also going to be held over this in the meantime, so it's not dropping all over your house. And so when you're holding the sage over the shell, it's stopping any of those droppings from hitting your floor and, causing any kind of fire, obviously, because you don't want to drop anything that's kindling. Now, there's another reason why you could use this shell too. Some people like to buy sage that's just the flakes of the sage. See these little flakes? So you can always like tear up one of your sage bundles and kind of crush it and stuff, but they do sell it in little packets like this, where you're just buying the sage loose. Okay. And then what you would do is you would put the little sage, okay, little pieces inside the shell. You would light them on fire. Okay. And then as it burns, you don't have to worry about anything dripping over your carpet or anything, because you have it in the shell, and these little holes here are actually ventilating it. So it's kind of cool, because now you're just holding the shell, clearing and cleansing your space, and you don't have to worry about anything dropping, and it's all contained. Okay, so a lot of people use these. Now I also want to mention feathers. So a lot of people use turkey feathers to wave the smoke around. So as you're burning, you might want to wave the smoke around. Okay, so it just kind of helps. It's kind of like a ceremonial sort of thing that people use. And that's just a preference as well. Okay, they're really pretty. and then there's also another type of sage, but it actually is a wood, a piece of wood. This is called Palo Santo. It's actually really popular right now. It smells so good. Some people replace this instead of myrrh, okay, or sort of resin. And this is a beautiful, beautiful smelling piece of wood that comes from South America. And they call it, actually, Palo Santo also means holy wood. So it's a holy, it's a beautiful tree in South America, and it has this great smell. And it's for protection, and it's also for good luck. So I like to use Palo Santo more for a little bit as good luck, because just as it is, you don't have to burn it, and you could gift it to somebody, or you can put it in your purse, you can put it in your car. Like I keep one in my car, and I live in Florida. So when it gets really hot and steamy, it's kind of like my own, natural car smeller upper, what are those things called? Anyway, so it makes my car smell great, and I don't have to use any of those chemicals in my car. So I really love using them in there. Plus it helps protect me while I'm driving and gives me good luck. So it's something really cool. It's a great gift for other people. You can burn Palo Santo. A lot of people do that. This comes in lots of different shapes too. And sometimes you make them in little angel shapes and things like that. So it's really kind of nice. Now you would do the same thing. You would light it up, and it doesn't kindle as fast as sage does. Sage will like light up and you'll get the smoke going. This one, smells kind of like a campfire once you get it going. Really beautiful smell, but it can blow out, because as you're moving it around your space, it can go out several times. So just know that about this, that you'll have to probably kindle it a few times while you're clearing out your space or your home with Palo Santo, holy wood. Okay, so good luck and holy wood for cleansing and clearing and for positive energy. So now that you learned a little bit about the different sages, here's one more that's just really pretty. I just want to bring this to your attention. So this is just white sage again, and they put rose petals in it for your chakras or just to make them look pretty. And these are great gifts too. So they're just putting a little bit of more positive energy, because rose oil, rose petals, and roses all are protection too. So if you didn't know that, rose oil is for protection. So also the petals would be. And it also makes a beautiful little gift too, or just looks so cool, hanging out before you start burning it. Now you're going to say, well, how do I use sage correctly? So again, we talked about burning it, and that's really simple. So you're just going to kindle it lightly. And when you put it out, you are just going to either use your shell and just put it out this way in its own ashes. Okay. You could also use dirt, if you want to do it outside, and just put it in the dirt and kind of rub it around. That'll actually put out the flame. I don't suggest that you run it under water, only because if you do that, the sage can get moldy, and if you don't use it in a while, it'll actually kind of mold the whole thing, and it gets kind of like rancid smelling. So I would just say for you, because you can use sage more than once, and obviously you will unless you live in a mansion, and you probably won't burn the whole thing. So you want to be able to either like break off that piece, or like, again, you can make it in little pieces like this, or just make sure you put it out correctly and completely. Okay. So now, how do we use sage with good intention? When you're using sage, you always want to think or say, so either one, you could say it in your head or out loud, what your intention is with that space. Now, if you're doing it to clean and cleanse negative energy, that means that you're transmuting that negative energy out and you want to bring positive energy in, right? So what you would say is, I am going to allow myself to clean and clear this space, and whether it's your home, your office, whatever space it might be, just name it. Okay, so I'm cleaning and cleansing my space. I am going to allow myself to release any negative energy or negative entities if you feel like there's something in your space. Okay, by lighting this sage, outlining my house and cleaning and cleansing so only positive energy is present. Okay. And you could also say you're releasing the energy. There's a lot of different wording you can use, but just use your intention, because your intention is what you desire and what you project to do. And it's very powerful when you're using it with sage. So the sage has high frequency, like we were talking about, that's going to clean and cleanse it. But it's also your intention that's going to put out the frequency of what you want that energy to be released to. Okay. So I always say that if there's any negative energy in this space, that it will be recycled and renewed, or it will go to the light, out of my home and into a better space for them, or for it, or for yourself, if it's just your own energy that's negative that you're clearing out of your space, or somebody in your families. So that's how you're going to clean and cleanse your space, always using your intention of what you're doing. Now, you can also cleanse your space to be more loving, and I like to use white sage with lavender, and we call it love sage. And as you're burning it, you would outline. So this is the same doing any clearing and cleansing. If you're doing your home or your space, you're always going to light it, use your intention of what you're doing with it, cleaning and cleansing the negative space into the positive. And you're going to outline all the rooms, all the windows, all the doors. Okay, so let it smoke up, smoke up, smoke up. And then you open them all out. Okay, so once you got everything smoky, you open everything up, the windows, the doors, and allow that energy to go out. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You want it to go out. So once it seems like it's clear and the smoke is gone, then you are going to close everything up again and say beautiful things in your house. Okay, so my house is beautiful, clean, and clear. My house is beautiful, clean, and clear. If you're doing it for love, you're going to say this house is specifically for love and light and for good relationships. Okay, positive energy, positive relationships. So you're just setting that intention in your space now at a certain frequency that's higher and more positive. So this way, when people come in, they're going to feel that shift of the energy in that space. Wow, it feels loving in here. Wow, it feels really good in here. Wow, you need to get that smoke out of here. I'm kidding. So make sure you clear it out nice, because some people, again, are kind of sensitive to the smoky smell. But either way, you're going to change the frequency and shift the energy. So this way your house and space are a number one good. So if you have any other questions about saging, just let me know. There are a lot of different herbs you can sage with. And I just went over, the few here today with the white sage from California. We have mugwort, comes from a couple different places in the United States and outside the United States, but mugwort is a wonderful herb. That is the one that is the most potent. So if you need some major energy clearing, this is one to use. And again, the Palo Santo, which is also wonderful and for good luck, great to gift someone. Sage is a really good gift for anyone, sage and also Palo Santo, so everybody loves to get these. So gift it to your friend, okay? Gift it to yourself. So I hope you learned a lot today about sage, and we'll be back. Again, I'm your host at All Things Metaphysical, and I will see you next time. Have a great one. Love and light.